Shalom, family. We have no more time, okay? We are in the end times. Our time is running out, okay? From the time of now until some sort of cataclysmic event happens and it takes the lives of billions or millions or billions of people, okay? Because I think that's what many people are currently waiting on, right? Because they are blind to all of the potentially world-ending events that's going on right now, from Russia and Ukraine going to war, right? It has caused China to start. They're on the fence now. It seems as if they're preparing, right, over Taiwan. They're preparing for war with America. Okay, China and Russia are allies. All right, and so also many don't see the global recession that we're about to go through, with prices skyrocketing because no one can farm, because all of the land is becoming inhabitable due to war, due to natural disasters that's happening around the world at unprecedented rates, causing what's called world records. Okay, we're breaking records now, right? And so all of these events that is happening, they're slowly building up, and people are still subscribing to the matrix of money, pleasure, fear, and hate, and things of that nature and sort. And what it's causing people to do is to they're stepping further and further away from themselves. These things come to me. I don't have to study these things. Okay, I don't. They come to me, and that is why I look into them, because I always know God is guiding and is leading me. Okay, because I have a relationship for nature, an affinity, a love, a respect for nature. Okay, and so that is what it is about, and I suggest all of you to explore for your own selves. Okay, ask God, where do you need to be at this time? What do you need to do? How can you play your part? Okay, because that's the kind of times that we're entering. Okay, and so for me to explain this all to you, first I have to explain what an age even is, because many here, we're entering the age of Aquarius, but they don't really understand what an age actually is. Okay, so I'll explain that. The Earth has three motions. Okay, it has its what they call its tilt kind of rotation, right, where it's turning, it's spinning, right, and we call it 24-hour cycle, where the sun hits different parts of the Earth. Okay, and then you have its year cycle, right? The orbit around the sun takes 12 months, right? And then you have a greater cycle called Earth's precessional cycle. Okay, it's 25,920 years to complete this cycle, because the Earth is traveling with the sun on the sun's ecliptic, right? Everything in space moves. We think it stays still. No, it moves. Okay, I was dumbfounded when I learned that too. And the sun basically is traveling through the 12 zodiac constellations, right? And so each zodiac constellation takes 2,160 years to travel through. If you times that by 12, that's how you get the number 25,920 years, right? And so each age has three portions now. It can be broken down even further. Okay, man, there's so many flies, and I'm trying to get through this. I've been recording this 3-4 times, getting interrupted, but it's so important that I have to share it with you guys, so I'll do my best to get through. Okay, so it has the entering an age, progressing through the age, and then we have the leaving out of an age. Okay, which what they call end times, right? Biblical end times, revelations, right? In the book of Mark, when Jesus was telling his disciples what the end would look like, right? And so it's important to note that every age does not bring cataclysms. Okay, we have to look in Ezekiel, or look at the cherubim of the four-headed angel being, or the four cardinal points, or whatever you want to associate it with, as the age of Aquarius, the age of Leo, the age of Taurus, and the age of Scorpio. Okay, every time we seem to enter one of those ages, that is where the catastrophe and the cataclysm happens. And you can take these numbers that I'm sharing with you right now and do the math from 12,000 years to 6,000 years ago, and see that every time that we hit one of those ages, that some sort of global catastrophe ends up happening. Okay, and so this is because almost like, okay, say you're in a neighborhood that is 25 miles per hour. It's only a one-way street, okay, and the traffic there is very low. You're going to a roundabout or a dead end, right? Traffic there is probably only about a couple cars for the day, and you walk across the street blindfolded. Your chances are close to zero of getting hit by a car, okay, because of the speed limit, and because of the fact that it's low traffic, it's low risk, okay. That is what it's like traveling all the signs between those 4 points that I told you about. Okay, so that's why you'll see there's periods in history, 9,000 year period, 6,000 year period, or whatever, until it hits one of those points, and then something ends up happening. Okay, and so the history they teach us in school is within that margin of before something happened. They don't even talk about the Younger Dryas impact 12,800 years ago of the comet hitting Earth at the end of the Ice Age, and how it wiped out hundreds of species of large animals. Okay, if you ever watched the movie Ice Age and you see the saber-toothed cats and the woolly mammoths and the big bears and all those kind of larger animals, okay, that's the kind of animals I'm talking about were wiped out, and the human species almost didn't make it too. And that's why you have all of these flood stories, biblical flood stories of Zeus, Sudra, Dionysius, and then Noah, and this person and that person, because it was floods that happened from when the comet impact. It was the initial impact that caused catastrophe, and then 1,000 years from the sun being blocked by, or the ash being in the air, and all of the chemical reactions and things like that, melting the ice caps and causing multiple episodes of floods. Okay, so it wasn't just one. Many people think it was one flood. It wasn't just one flood. It was many floods, and that's why you have different kinds of prophetic stories. The Native American Clovis culture and all different kinds of cultures around the world. Okay. They're talking about basically the same thing. We all think it's like a whole different world that they're talking about. It's not. They just describe it differently from their geographical point where they were at. Okay, and so if we go back to the end of the age of Virgo, which was some 13,000 years ago, right? That would have been 11,311 BC. Okay. And if we look at when the comet impact hit, because this date that I gave here would have been when it was only 720 years left in the age of Virgo. I don't know if I mentioned, but each, like I said, each age has three phases, okay, and they're all 720 years. If you do the math and you times that by 3, that's 2,160. And so this was only about a 500 year difference from when they hit that 720 year mark, the end. You're already in the end when you hit 720 years. Something can happen at any moment, okay? And we're well past that for you, those of you who don't know. And so it was only a 500 year difference in 10,778 BC, where the Younger Dryas comet had hit, which I was just explaining. And so from that time to when they actually entered the age of Leo, when you hear people say I was so close, that's what our ancestors could say. Okay, it was only a 187 year gap when they entered the age of Leo after the comet impact. Okay, and so that's a very small time period for when we're talking about thousands of years. And like I said, once you already hit that 720 year mark, something can happen at any moment. Okay, so they were lucky to even have 500 years after that to see before they got into the age of Leo. Okay, and so now let us look at this in relation for where we are 12,000 years fast forward. Okay, and so the end of Pisces was roughly around which when we hit that, we only have 720 year mark, that last decan phase, the entering out, was roughly around 1518 AD. Okay, and so For one, no one knows the exact time dates. We can't get this down to a T. No, all scientists are religious people that we all don't know when it is, okay? Trust me, I've searched hours and days and nights and months now to see if anyone knows when these ages takes place. But it says it in Revelations that no man knows the time of when catastrophe will happen, okay? And so, because this has been going on since the beginning of since Earth's creation, I'm pretty sure, okay? It's greater cycles. And so no one was here to record it from the beginning of that, you know. Anyway, that's a talk for another time. Hopefully maybe something will come up and we'll figure it out soon enough. But we are here, okay? We're in 2022 AD, okay? What I call the dead zone, because that is exactly opposite of where our ancestors were at when the comet impact had hit, okay? And it had destroyed many civilizations. Have you ever heard of the story of Atlantis from Plato, okay? Around like 500 BC or so, Plato had wrote the Timaeus and the Critias from one of his ancestors who channeled from an Egyptian priest in one of the temples the falling of Atlantis, and said it was around 9,600 years ago, okay? And so if you add the time, the 2,000 year difference from when that happened and the 9,600 years, you'll get around 11,600 year period, okay? And so 11,600 years ago is when we get that what they call the Younger Dryas flood, okay? Because there was the initial impact of the comet, which was 1,000 years before 11,600 years ago, about 1,200 years, right? 12,800 years ago exactly would have been the margin. And 1,200 years after that is when, from that period, from that 1,000-year period, many episodes of floods happen, okay? Because of the impact and how much smoke it brought up into our stratosphere, and then the chemical reactions after that melt the ice caps and stuff. So you have multiple episodes of floods, okay? And so that is where we are, okay? And so entering the age of Aquarius, which will roughly be around 2,238, we give or take 100 years, okay? Around that margin. It's only from where we are a 216-year period gap, just like our ancestors when they felt like they were so close before that catastrophe happened. They only had 187 years. That is where we are at, and that's why I said this is what we are standing on. We're standing on a cliff. Imagine if you're at the edge of a cliff. I've been seeing floating islands in my third eye. My partner Taylor can tell you all about it. I tell her all of my visions, okay? Before any of this came to me this morning, because I was channeling tarot about my visions, and then I seen on the tarot cards was an island, and I said, that makes so much sense, because I had seen two guardians in my vision, and they were across from each other. And then what I seen, and I'm pretty sure they represent the two age points, okay? The guardians, the marks, right? Like the cherubim, the angel. And so when I asked them what they were, they scanned me with light in their eyes. They look at me and I could see light going into my soul. And when I asked them what they were, I seen a spinning top, and I already knew it was Earth's precessional cycle because I had learned about it previously, okay? And so I've been seeing in my third eye vision volcano eruptions, which I previously made a video about. Like I told you guys, we have this the World War brewing up, okay? World War III, which I seen in a dream. It came to me, World War III predomination, okay? How to prepare for that. That was literally the title in my dream, okay? Before I even made the video about the volcano or thought that we were in end times, okay? And last year I made a video about the age of Aquarius, but I did not know the significance of the time that we were in, okay? I just knew that we were somewhere close to entering the age of Aquarius, okay? And then last night before I went to bed, I saw a nuclear radioactive symbol in my third eye, okay? And Spirit's been showing me time sand glass, okay, in my third eye visions as well. And so letting me know we don't have time. We don't have that much time. Okay, for any of you who are paying attention to any of this, you will see that we don't have that much time. Okay, so it's each and every one of you responsibility to spread and to raise awareness. Okay, do not subscribe to the matrix. It is falling. If you subscribe to the matrix, you will fall with their system. Okay, But you have to build a relationship with yourself and build a relationship with God. Ask God, where do you need to be, so you can be awake, so God can guide you through the catastrophe, because all that is subscribed to the old paradigm will die with the old paradigm. Okay? It's not evil. It's just the cycles and the way of life. Okay? Just like when weeds go through the ground, what do? We whack it. Okay? Or when certain things doesn't belong somewhere that it needs to be, so that we can build a new, we clear the old. Okay? And so I'm pretty sure nature doesn't see it any different. It doesn't have anything against anyone. It's just certain paradigms that need to be shifted and they need to fall away. Okay? And so all I can do is open my heart to spread love to you all, because these visions are obviously coming to me for a reason. Okay? And so that from there I have no more to say. All right? I'll leave it up to you all. Peace, love, and light. Blessings, family.